Great, thanks, Beth. And welcome everybody to our Alzheimer Education Series. I am Kara, I'm the Education and Support Services Coordinator at the Alzheimer's Society. And so I have the pleasure of introducing you to our guest speaker in a few minutes. Before I introduce Kiana, what I'd like to do is just to let you know that during the presentation, you can feel free to ask questions via the private and confidential chat box, which is addressed to the Alzheimer's Society of Nova Scotia host. If you don't see it, just use your mouse to hover near the bottom, and there should be a little chat in the middle. You can click on that, and it should pop up for you. Just remember to press enter in order to send the message to the Alzheimer's Society host. Questions will only be seen by the Alzheimer's Society of Nova Scotia staff, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. So as a reminder, as Beth had said, that our session will be recorded. So your microphones and your cameras are turned off. So your faces and voices, they won't be part of the recording. And so today's topic will be making moments meaningful in long-term care. And of course, I have the privilege of introducing you to Kiana Forrest. And Kiana is a recreation programmer with Harborstone Enhanced Care. So her primary role is to plan, coordinate, implement a comprehensive therapeutic recreation program. So she also mentors students, works with volunteers, and fosters community connections as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Kiana.
Hello, everybody. How are you today? So today we're going to be talking about making moments meaningful in long-term care. So the most important thing to a long-term care partner of someone with Alzheimer's is to know their loved one is happy and healthy. However, care partners often can become overwhelmed by the responsibility and caregiving, and all forms of engagement tend to be focused on basic needs and on surviving the moment to next. In my professional practice, I've often heard from care partners that once their loved one is admitted to long-term care, they are in a position where, knowing their loved one's basic needs are met, they feel like they can refocus in engaging them in meaningful activities. This is easier said than done. Becoming reacquainted on a social level after focusing so long on basic care needs can be a challenge. Interests, strengths, disabilities, attention spans, etc. can change for your loved ones during your care partnership. These factors can create a need to adapt your approach, but remember that while the type of activities and abilities may change, one consistent factor for successful participation in recreation and leisure is meaningful engagement. All right, next. Meaningful engagement is centered on what we all need in our lives: positive human interaction. Whether in a one-on-one situation or in a group setting or via a distance, with purpose, meaningful engagement includes physical, social, and leisure activities that are tailored to the person's needs and preferences. The events can range from activities of daily living, such as dressing, eating, and watching, to leisure activities such as reading, gardening, arts and crafts, conversations, and singing. Meaningful engagement is a person-centered approach which encourages and invites people with Alzheimer's to purposefully participate in their world according to their changing needs, abilities, and interests. Participation includes activity, contributing ideas, skills, and abilities, while recognizing that individual participation will vary, depending on abilities, personal histories, and available opportunities. Next. Meaningful engagement has many benefits. It encourages us to feel good about ourselves, bring meaning to our lives, help us to feel a sense of belonging, provide opportunities for using and maintaining our skills, and generally supports our well-being. The benefits of meaningful engagement do not change with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. People living with Alzheimer's can engage in purposeful activities, To support engagement, it is important to know the person behind the Alzheimer's. As a care partner who knows the interest and history of your loved ones better than their professional care team, you can advocate and promote your loved one's inclusion in their activities of daily life, as well as leisure opportunities to help fill their moments with meaning. Next. When choosing an activity to engage your loved ones in, it may be difficult to know where to begin in the planning process. Recreation professionals use the 6 dimensions of wellness as a starting point for finding an area to engage in, an appropriate goal or an outcome to meet the interests and needs of the individual. Wellness is more than physical health. The 6 dimensions of wellness view leisure and recreation from a holistic lens. Each domain focuses on a different type of need and purpose for meaningful engagement. Using the demands of wellness, you can choose an area that connects with your loved one's interests and needs and create an opportunity to engage them. Physical wellness, activities that help maintain or develop healthy habits and lifestyle. Physical activity, nutrition, sleep, self-care, etc. Some examples are sports, exercise, meal prep, and chair yoga. Social wellness, activities that provide opportunities for enjoyment, interaction with new people, maintaining and developing relationships. So such as musical entertainment, socials, tours, and art classes. Cognitive wellness activities that expand knowledge and skills, offer ways to learn new things and skills, access to computer and current events, news, world affairs. So think of lifelong learning, such as hobby clubs, newspapers, podcasts, course audits. Vocational wellness, activities that provide opportunities for applying skills from previous professional life roles to positively influence the lives of others, so creates a sense of purpose, such as woodworking, baking, cleaning, shopping, and writing. Spiritual wellness, activities that provide opportunities for exploring personal beliefs, values, and reflection of life's meaning and purpose, such as church, Bible study, meditation, Reiki, and massage. Emotional wellness, activities that help increase understanding of self, managing feelings, coping with life's challenges and changes, offer ways for self-expression and reflection, and intergenerational opportunities, such as arts, journaling, storytelling, organization, and etc. Rest and restoration fall under both spiritual and emotional wellness. No one wants to live on a cruise ship. There is time to have no or little activity and sit with emotions. Next. When engaging someone in an activity, it's important to focus on your loved one's abilities. Appreciate that a person with Alzheimer's is the same person as in the past. It's the disease that is creating barriers to their previous leisure activities. Using the domains of wellness, you can connect to the things your loved ones enjoyed in the past while engaging in an activity that they will succeed in. When introducing your activity, you can set yourself up for success from the beginning. If possible, use an area that has minimal distractions. You can encourage conversations about the task or activity by recalling memories, introducing pictures, or music that is connected to the task. Keep instructions simple and easy to comprehend. Depending on the ability of your loved one, you can use verbal instructions, pictures, or written instructions, or model the actions yourself. Have all of the supplies needed for the activity on hand. Provide ample time for them to process materials in front of them and the goal you introduce. Allow your loved one to take the lead once possible. Watch for signs of frustration and focus on the abilities and strength of your loved ones. Comment and praise what is going well and what they are achieving. Thank them for participating and helping you. Remember that your goal is to be engaged and to have fun, not to end up with a perfect product or a task that that's been completed according to direction. Next. Before we explore ways to engage your loved ones, either in personal or via distance, I'm going to give you a COVID-19 disclaimer. Provincial health directives can change quickly in light of COVID-19. All licensed nursing homes in Nova Scotia must follow the COVID-19 directives as set by public health. This doesn't mean that meaningful moments are beyond your grasp. However, it may mean that adaptations are required. If you have any concerns or questions, I encourage you to speak directly with the management team at the facility so you can prepare accordingly. Next. When in person, the number and type of activities can be limitless. Using the dimensions of wellness, pick one area and reflect on the goal of that area. Cake decorating, aromatherapy, scrapbooking, grocery lists, mini spas can all be done in room and in PPE. Next. Long distance or social distance engagement is possible. During different phases of COVID at our facility, we saw inventive programs like quilting via mail, pen pals, Skype, recipe swaps or write a cookbook, videos of grandchildren sharing their memories or reading bedtime stories, road signs, antique car shows, and lawn parties. Next. Care partners support their loved ones when they themselves have support. Lean into existing supports in the recreation department where your loved one lives. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. Ask what's successful and what materials that they can provide. The recreation staff can support you and your loved one, and they can offer insight on how to adapt or accommodate leisure programs. Learn as much as you can about your family members' leisure interests from their past and current day-to-day. Seek out other caregivers and professional caregivers. Encourage your loved one's independence and include them in the process. Know your limits. Do not let your interventions done with the best of intentions affect your mental health. Next. The responsibilities of a care partner can create a lot of pressure. I'd like to remind all of you that for a care partner to provide the best care for their loved ones, you also need to care for yourself. And one of the ways you can do this is by incorporating meaningful engagement in your own life. Participate in recreation and leisure activities, whether they be on your own or within groups. It will benefit your own personal and mental health, which in long term benefits everybody and the caregiving partnership. Next. As care partners, we need to value social and mental health along with physical health. Meaningful moments can bring excitement, hope, peace, and comfort to your loved ones and yourself. A meaningful moment can be boisterous and exciting or quiet and contemplative. But all meaningful moments create connections which strongly impact overall health and wellness. After the question period, if you would like additional help, resources, or some help in creating meaningful moments for your loved ones, please reach out to me as I would be happy to help assist you in any way that I can. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Thanks, Kiana. And of course, as Kiana had said, we're going to go through a question and answer session right now. We actually did have some questions that came in through the chat. So I'm just going to bring some of those up, Kiana, as I'm scrolling through. Okay, so that was a lot of really great information. And I really like the fact that you incorporated, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. There we go. I like the fact that you incorporated the idea of, you know, the 6 elements of wellness, or the 6 dimensions of wellness, which I think is really important. Sometimes when we think about activities, we don't necessarily think of, you know, what the person did for their vocation. So what did they do in their life as far as coming up with a meaningful activity? So really nice to see those broken down into those different dimensions. And one of the questions actually that came through, Kiana, was, so do the activities provided have to be part of a group, or are some of the activities individual as well?
So the activities that we do here at Harborstone are either small group, large group, or one-on-one activities. So we adjust to the residents' needs as they come. If they needed a one-on-one activity, then that's what we would incorporate with them.
Great. And I know just because this woman, she had commented, she said, you know, my sister was never really sociable in the first place. And so she thought maybe she'd be uncomfortable around a larger group of people. And so knowing that one-on-one is doable makes her feel more at ease. And I think, as you said, and you mentioned some of those notifications or some of the policies around COVID as well, things are changing. So really important maybe to have open communication with the staff in long-term care to find out what has changed, even as far as visitations, those sorts of things. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, here's another question. Do you also assist residents to engage in activities on their own?
We do. So a lot of the times, if there's a resident who would rather do an activity alone by themselves in their room, we can provide them with that activity. Say if it's a craft that they would like to do, or a painting, or anything really, we could just bring it right up to their room and check in on them throughout the day so they can see their process and how they've done. I have a resident who just loves to do stuff like that, and she loves to show you her work at the end of the day, that she did it by herself, and she gets that sense of, I've done this, I've completed this on my own.
Nice. And that's that sort of that sense of purpose and the value, and and that creation. I think we all need connections, but also being able to create as well, whether it be art, whether it's knitting, or whatever our interest is. Really important to be able to continue to do those things. That's great. Awesome. All right, let's see. So when new residents move into your home, do you get a social history on each of those individuals, Kiana?
Yes, normally we will get a little write-up of what they used to do, a bit of a family history, how many kids they have, what they did for work, what they used to do for their day-to-day living, just so that we can have a bit of a background when we go to speak to them, so we can connect with them a little more during their initial assessment.
Great. So is that something that you would recommend? So if there was somebody in the community, and let's just say their partner was getting ready to go into long-term care, or maybe it was their mom or dad, maybe to prepare a bit of a social history before they go into long-term care?
Yeah, it would probably be, it would definitely be beneficial.
Right. Yeah, because then I would imagine it would help you to develop a rapport with the person faster, right? So you have that connection and the trust.
Yeah.
Because it would be unfamiliar at times, I'm thinking, you know, for the person that's moving into there, because it's their new home.
That's right.
All right, let's see what else we've got here in the chat. Okay. Okay, that's sort of similar. What if dad does not get along with the staff member that's doing the activity? So what if there's maybe some interpersonal conflict happening between?
Yeah. And that does happen. All of our staff here are trained with gentle persuasion.
Okay.
So if, say, that was to occur and it was like the resident was very agitated because of this staff member, then we would just add a different staff member in at that time, and we would kind of swap out. We would adjust to the circumstance.
Excellent, great. And this is something that we get quite a bit at the Alzheimer's Society through InfoLine, is sometimes their partner, like or their dad might go in. And so it's looking at activities that are interesting to them. So this woman she commented to say that her dad, she's concerned about there being activities that he would find enjoyable. She said he loved tinkering in his garage, and was wondering if there would be anything similar to that in long-term care. And she states with an exclamation point, "Whatever you do, don't ask him to play bingo."
So for that situation, we definitely could do building birdhouses, painting birdhouses, sorting tools, like we can get different types of nuts, bolts, screws that they can just kind of tinker with and sort through, hammer them into a board, whatever that would help them feel like they're still in their garage.
Right. And it's funny, I remember in some of the TIPA snow training that we did here at the Alzheimer's Society, I remember she had a lamp. So it was just a lamp. And what she had done was she rigged it so that there was something small that had to happen to it. So it was just, I'm not sure if it was the wire that was entering into the socket or if it was the light bulb, but she brought it to her client and he was able to fix it. And you could tell he was really happy with the fact that he was able to help her because she didn't know, she didn't know that how to get it working again. And then he put it together and it was that accomplishment, which was huge, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we all need to be able to do those things. At the Alzheimer's Society, we actually have an All About Me book when we talk about that social history, Kiana. There's the All About Me booklet, and that really gives a great comprehensive social story or a social history. And it talks about, you know, what I would normally do when I get up in the morning. Do I prefer to have my bath in the evening, or do I prefer to have a shower in the morning? All of those sorts of things. And it talks about who my grandkids are, who my best friend was, what I did as an occupation. So that's our All About Me booklet. For those of you who have family members in long-term care, give us a call or connect with us online through our info line. And we do have copies of All About Me. So just give us a call and we can send those out to you in the mail. All right. And I'm just going to check here to see if we have any more questions. No, we don't have any more questions in the chat. So again, thank you so much, Kiana. A lot of information to sort of go through, to think about, and again, looking at those different dimensions of wellness. And you also brought in something that we're supporting families with at the Alzheimer's Society, and it's that long distance caring piece. It can be really challenging, especially, let's just say, for instance, if your mom is in Cape Breton in long-term care, maybe you're in another province, for instance, and trying to figure out how to connect regularly. So would you suggest to contact the staff at the long-term care facility, Kiana, just to see what resources they have in place to connect virtually like we're doing today through Zoom and
Yeah, we've
FaceTime?
Done a lot of Zoom and Skype and FaceTime calls through COVID just to keep families connected.
Zoom, FaceTime, and Skyping?
Skyping, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a question that came through the chat.
Great.
So this lady says, my mother has always been very active and is now living in long-term care, but her speech has been affected and she can't communicate. Do you have any suggestions for people who are nonverbal?
For nonverbal, if what we carry here is called a letter board. I'm not sure if your mom would be able to use something along that line, but this kind of helps them if they need to spell it out, or even a whiteboard. But if not, like we can go with her cues, her facial expressions, and try to engage her. Music therapy is wonderful. We do a lot of music, and a lot of the times they'll sing along with the songs. And you can see in their face that they're just so happy to hear that music and to be engaged in that. So just trying to keep her engaged, even though that if she's not able to communicate, she can still communicate with her facial expressions and whatnot. Just, yeah.
Excellent. Do you find that sometimes residents will participate in a fair amount, but maybe not tell their loved ones that they participate in quite as much as they actually do?
Yes, I do. So a lot of the times for that, we have a tracking, like we'll write down what residents came to what programs, So that way, if we have a care conference and a family asks that question, well, my mom used to go to this all the time. Well, we can actually show them that, well, your mom did come to this here and she enjoyed it a lot. She loved it and she did participate. So a lot of the times we try to include everybody as much as we can.
Yeah, and if they have some dementia, they may not remember having attended the activity later on, but they definitely do enjoy themselves while they're there and are engaged and happy. They just may not be able to recall that when somebody asks them, "What'd you do this morning?" So
yeah, that's right.
Just going to check one more time in the chat there. Well, thank you so. Oh, did you have something to add, Beth?
I was going to say we did pop the links in the chat box that that Kiana had mentioned. Golden Carers has a lot of great free resources that you can access, quizzes and different types of games and ways to adapt things. So that, say, mom used to love to play bingo and played with 7 cards and lots of daubers, but now is finding that a little more challenging, or doesn't want to get out to the bingo hall because of her nervousness around COVID, or maybe the bingo hall she's always gone to is closed. You can adapt down to 1 card and maybe play TV bingo. There's different ways to, so they have lots of examples of how to adapt things so that even though mom may be losing some of her abilities, what she still has can be used, so that maybe it's card bingo, where you have a deck of cards and you have 4 cards instead of a bingo card. So there's lots of different varieties there. There's also some good ideas on activity and treatment ideas for recreation therapy, and the link is there as well. And Activity Pro is also another great site that a lot of long-term care homes use for some great ideas and creative activities. If you are somebody who has trouble getting links out of chats, just send us an email and we will include those in the email that's going to come out after this session today.
Excellent. So thank you once again, Kiana, for coming in and sharing your knowledge with us today.